Everybody, welcome back to the Iron Oak Sawmill. In case you're new here, I'm Chuck.
And I'm Deb.
And we are Iron Oak Sawmill. Husband and wife team, running the sawmill, running the log splitter, doing all kinds of stuff around the mill here, fixing our own vehicles, doing our own work, doing our own thing. But before we get started today's video, I'd like to thank everybody who's been coming back week in and week out and supporting us here. Definitely appreciate all the help we're getting from you guys. All the comments are great, loving it. So hey, if you got a comment you'd like to leave, please leave it down in the comment section. As always, one of the things going on today. Well, before we get started today's video, let's just take a walk around the mill and see what's going on. Deb has had her garden in for quite a while, of course. All of her lettuce has come and gone. We've eaten all that or given some away or whatever. Tomatoes are well on their way. We've got her one tomato plant, but it is loaded with tomatoes.
I have one red one.
If you like green bell peppers, man, they're coming in strong all over the place. Wow. And this is our first real cucumber year, and this thing grew off in the wrong direction. There's a trellis in here for it. You can't even see it, but it's surrounding our one shrub. But getting some monster cucumbers off of here, so that's looking good. All right, on to some wood stuff. If you saw one of our shorts videos earlier this week, we put out that we finally made an actual sale out of the roadside stand. We picked the worst time to put this thing out here. Right after we put it out, we hit heat wave. Firewood just shut off. Nobody's buying anything. Until yesterday, a young lady showed up, bought 6 bags. So scored a nice sale there. As soon as the weather cools down, I think it's going to take off again. You guys let me know what you think. What we got over here? Well, Dave, come pick up your lumber, man. Lots of it here. It's got to go to your house. Stacked and stickered. I could load it up and take it over there. Or load it up for you. But Dave, come get your lumber, man. We all know, if you watched the short video again, the Ford is back online and running. Man, she sounds good. Needs a little work on the front end here. Got to pretty that up a bit. But she's back up and running strong. We haven't towed with it yet. We're still doing a little bit of braking on the tranny. Not that we have to, but we just want to. She's running strong. Good to have that one back. And as you notice, we are hooked up and heading out to a mill job tomorrow. So we've got all of our stuff in here. I know you guys want to know what's in the magic mill box here. I'm going to have to show you. Eventually, we'll get a video on that one of these days. The mill's all hooked up. We've got a job. It's like 13 logs, 14 logs. A lot of black walnut and English walnut, so that ought to be a good one. Don't worry, Mr. Scheib, your dually is still doing its thing. Yes, she's missing her front end a little bit there, but still working strong and doing the job. All right, got another customer log here, 8/4. Just going to slice it straight through. No squaring it up, just leave it live edge, slice it straight through. That's a 14-footer, yeah. I believe. A 14-foot red oak, about 20-inch diameter. It's gonna look nice. But as been requested, or yeah, someone wants quarter sawing videos. Lots of folks have been asking about quarter sawing videos. Well, we scored a couple of really nice red oak logs. Yeah, so these are clear and well worth sawing into quarter sawn lumber. So we're gonna do a couple of videos on that, I think. But yeah, these things are nice and clear. Yes, they have the cracks here, but hey, that one's already started quarter sawn itself. So we're gonna still pull a lot of good quarter sawn lumber out of these. No worries about that, guys. But if you guys follow the channel, you'll know that last week we did not put out a video. The reason for that is I'm just finishing up the recovery from my 3rd eye surgery. Chuck has 20/20 vision again in both eyes. So that's a good thing, and I've gone followed the doc's orders. I'm fully recovered, so we can get back to milling, back to doing some firewood. But apologize for missing last week's video. We're going to make it up this week with we've got a nice one here. It's an old one. I had to pull it out of the archives and do some editing on it. But what it is we did a small countertop addition in the kitchen, where we call a coffee bar. And we did a red elm or slippery elm top for that. You're going to see us pull that off the stack out back, take it into the shop, get it all prepped up, get it finished. But check that out in the upcoming video. And in true professional YouTuber fashion, I forgot to turn the mic on. So you see us here, we're roughing down with the Festool track saw. Don't worry, I'm not going to catch that tail. Roughing it down to about 42 by 16 or so. Taking that back edge off, that would be, of course, the part that sits against the wall. Here we're going to go ahead and cut it down to that rough length of about 42. It's got one thing to say about this Festool track saw. It is amazing. It works extremely well. I know there's other alternatives, but this is the one we settled on. We figured we've got lots of slabs to cut. We want something that's going to last, want something that's going to be accurate, want something that's going to be strong, and the Festool does all that for us. No, I'm not sponsored. No, this isn't an advertisement for them. All right, so there it is. Rough shape. And I'll tell you what, this stuff stayed really flat. Just sitting out on a pallet, sitting out there in the wood yard, in the lumber yard. And this has been back there for 5 years. And it's just got a little movement, maybe an 1/8 inch, if that, from end to end. So it's a little bit like this, which you do want to allow this to move. It's not a huge slab. It's not going to move a bunch. It shouldn't shrink any more than it already has. Elm is a very wet wood to begin with. This is still pretty heavy. You know what? I should get a moisture meter and check this. Sand a flat area. That's the best thing you can do, is sand a flat area, because when it's got these ripples in it, it doesn't really give a true reading. So let's go grab the moisture meter and see what we come up with. Okay, got the Orion moisture meter, the 930. With all the woodworking I'm doing, or we're doing, figured I better get a decent meter. Okay, so what you do, turn the unit on, does its little startup, check the book. Okay, we're looking for elm. There's American elm and slippery elm. Could be either one of those. I was told it was red elm or slippery elm based on how slick the underside of this bark was. It was like grease. To me, that's slippery elm. That's what I've heard it to be. So it's 0.53. You can take the unit, you go with the species button here. Oh, it's already set for 5.3, but what you do, up and down arrows, get it to your proper setting, hit the power button, you're ready to go. Did this dry at all? That's not right. 17 there, 26 here. This has been out there for 5 years. Let's sand a spot, get it smooth, see what we come up with. We're going to take it in the house where we've got dehumidifiers in the basement, or we can have them running. We have a the wood stove going, and it'll definitely dry out in there. But let's sand a spot on here. Hey, if nothing else, go look at what we're gonna have. Set on aggressive mode with 80 grit pad. It's a used 80 grit. That's a lot smoother spot. Okay, smoother always reads more accurately. Did this stuff dry at all out there? How wet was this stuff before? 32%? Wow. You know, you move it up to the rough, it's at 24. Let's try this different setting just in case. Change it to the American elm. Nope, no difference. Still reads the same. I'll tell you what though, that is some pretty grain. Take a look at that. That is nice. That's some really nice looking grain there. Looks like a chestnut brown color to it. Yeah. I think it gets a little bit more on the tan side as you get out here. Then you have the white sapwood along the edges here, which looks cool. Nice, nice set of contrasting colors. So I think we're going to end up continuing this in a couple of months. I hope this thing is a lot drier than this. Maybe that's just surface moisture. I mean, it's been raining for days outside. This has been undercover, but still, it's outside. I always tell people when you're going to work with something like this, something that we sell especially, take it inside, let it acclimate, just like hardwood flooring. Let it acclimate and see what happens. So, all right, so there you have it, rough to size. Moisture meter's telling us it's a little high, and we're going to see if we can take care of that in the house. And so just 2 months out for this cabinet to show up, and can't do anything else with the shelf till we're 100% sure, or the countertop until we're 100% sure where the cabinet's going to sit and how it's going to sit, and we'll go from there. But this is going to look real nice. I like that grain. So you get this in the house, get it dried down, wait for that cabinet to show up, and be out here in a couple of months, and be able to finish this little project up. But we just wanted to get everybody started on this one, and we'll see you in about 2 months. All right, well, it's actually been a couple of months since we've been out here working on the live edge countertop for the kitchen cabinet. Reason being, we didn't have a cabinet. I was considering making one, but time constraints keep me from doing that. So we ordered one. It took 2 months. It finally came in. I installed that this morning, or Deb and I installed that this morning, so it's ready to go. We have the countertop back out here. We're going to flatten the bottom side of it, and I think it should be ready to go. The top side's flat already. We're going to investigate a good finish to put on this to make sure it's durable enough as a countertop. But for now, let's get it flattened, cut the size, and finish sand. And then we'll go ahead and focus on the top. We'll break the edges here. I may even actually round these over with a router bit. Haven't decided yet. And we do have to add a small piece on the back, sort of a little backsplash, but more of just a filler strip at this point, which will be hidden. There you go. That's about that. 120 is fine. Alright, switch back. Do the 80. see that? I'm pretty sure I saw sparks. Yes, I did. Big old hunk of metal in there. Anybody want to guess what Festool blades cost? They kept cutting nice. Made it through. That's an old bend over nail, folks. There was evidence of it here. I don't think I noticed when I cut that. Because there's no staining. Not like an oak anyway. But yeah, anybody else see them sparks flying? Which has me a little concerned now about the dust collector. That looks like... I mean, that's big enough for part of a link of chain, isn't it? Sure as heck looks like it. Square to the backside. And I need an outfeed table. How about that too? Keep it away from the ends. Top. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. This is a tung oil based finish. This is a tung oil and resin finish. That's what I'm told. I have not used this product before. It's just simple. Apply with a foam brush. Let it dry. We're going to do the bottom side. Flip it over. Set it back down. I've got some cleats, I call them, to set it on. I don't care about the bottom side that much. Nobody's ever going to see it. So if I leave some marks in with the cleats, it doesn't really bother me. Biggest thing to me is getting the top side and the ends looking good. So let's go get started. And my first time finishing elm. So you're going to see first time I've seen it. So dropping it, let's flip it over. Without putting a whole lot of fingerprints in the bottom. It's the other thing with finishes like this, you can still feel the texture of the wood. With some of those other coatings, that's it. They just cover it up. So it's going to be a satin finish. A tiny bit of gloss to it, and that's it. It'll look wet now. It'll look glossier now because it's wet, but you can still see all the grain. I call it an open pour, open grain finish. That's the way I've heard it described anyway. Now it'll get a little bit better with each coat. 3 coats minimum. No sanding necessary for adhesion between coats, but aesthetics, which probably gonna have some dust nibs and whatnot in it. Maybe a little bit of raised grain, which is typical. It's a 320 or 400 grit paper between. And maybe just before the last coat, you do a 4.0 steel wool and then put the last coat on it. So, hope you like it so far. Bring you out for successive coats, or bring you out for some following. We'll let you see the next couple of coats of the finish, how we prep between coats, and we'll go from there. Minimum 24 hours. It's all based on humidity levels and temperature levels. The shop here will be probably in the 65 to 70 range, so that'll be a good temp for drying. And it's low humidity because it's the tail end of winter, beginning of spring, so should be fine out here in the shop. There it is, red elm or slippery elm. Lots of character in this piece. Love it. I think Deb's going to be happy. Very light sanding. Piece of 400 sandpaper. You get a little bit of raised grain. You get a little bit of maybe some dust nibs in there or something like that. Just want to knock that down. All right. A piece of tack rag. I still use tack rags. I don't know if other guys do or not. I still use tack rags. They work out really well. Some guys will wipe between coats, after sanding with mineral spirits or whatever to clean it up. That's about the only sanding method I ever learned, or finishing method I ever learned. Put a coat on, sand it with 400 grit or finer sandpaper, lightly, tack rag it off. The thing about the tack rag is you use it, flip it over, use it, turn it inside out again, use it. And it'll just keep staying tacky for a while. Another thing I'll do is, after I'm done tack ragging it, shake the air hose and blow the dust off of it. Anything that's down, since it is an open pour finish, you get dust in the open pores. Okay. Nice. Look at the front edge here. A real live edge, not machine sanded. Well, there it is, guys. Hopefully you like that. Added a little bit of cabinet space, a little bit of countertop space in our small kitchen, and I think it turned out pretty well. So we've been waiting to use a piece of that elm for quite some time, Lisa.
A long time.
We've had that at what, about 5 years, I think it's
A
been out there.
long, yes.
And it was weird that it wasn't dry, but it turns out it was just surface moisture for the most part that it was picking up, because we kept it in the house for a little while. It dried down really well. Sorry I didn't get the moisture content after it dried down, but it was ready to go, trust me, because we didn't want to put it on there and have it move and warp and look really bad. But it's still going strong today. No movement in the countertop, and it's still looking real nice and serving a good purpose. So
looks beautiful.
But hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. To all those coming back every week, thank you very much. We definitely appreciate all the support. And if you're new here, hey, consider subscribing, hitting that like button, and hey, share it with a friend. Okay. If you have any questions about what we're doing here at the mill with the log splitter, which is, yes, we're working with the log splitter again, the sawmill, or any of the equipment we're using here, please put it down in the comment section. We'd be glad to help you out. And as always, thanks everybody for stopping out, and we'll see you at our next time.
And take care.